Welcome to Buckets, your daily NBA betting podcast presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours. I'm Brandon Kravitz, back at it again. This is me going for a three-peat on 3 stars, 3 days in a row. But I am joined by some wonderful, wonderful dudes in the NBA betting world. I called him the unofficial mayor of Hornets Island yesterday. After what I witnessed tonight in Orlando, he's the official mayor of Hornets Island. That's Brandon Fonseca from the New York Post, and Mr. Chicago Flow himself, Sean Little. Very easy lesson for me tonight, fellas. Do not trifle with the Charlotte Hornets when they need sleep. 7 of their 17 wins are on no rest. That's almost 50% of their victories are when they have played the night before. I saw it firsthand. This team was legit. Now, the Magic were back from the overseas trip. By the way, beautiful spot. 2-0, betting against teams that flew back from Europe. Keep that in the back pocket for next year. But yeah, shout out to you, Brian. Another Hornets spot, absolutely nailed.
9-1 against the spread on no rest now. This team is ridiculous. I hope that everyone who listens to this and watches this keep this our little secret. Make sure that nobody catches on, because there will be another opportunity, I believe, before the end of the month soon, where the Hornets will have either no rest or rest disadvantage or both. Also, rest disadvantage, they're 8-2 against the spread now, which is one of the best records in the NBA. It's in the top 5. They were number 1 at one point, but just everyone, just don't even drop it in the comments. Just keep it our little secret. You can talk about it on the Discord. just remember, Hornets no rest.
Any takeaways from you tonight, Sean, or do you want to throw more fuel on my misery over here? Now, I did end up cashing the bet, to be clear. I was on the under. Some great closing line value too. We got that 230 last night on the podcast, and that one flew under. Did end up taking a sprinkle on the Hornets, but it never feels good. Never feels good when you're on the other side and you're in the building, but definitely a Hornets spot. What about you, Sean? What were you looking at tonight?
Hey, well, to touch on the Hornets real quick, I was going to say, I mean, they are pretty fun to watch. We've gone over this. If I rather watch them without having a wager incorporated, but they are a fun overall squad to watch when you're flipping through the slate on a nightly basis. You can pull a lot of things. When Ball is playing well, he's fun to watch, even though he's not a serious hooper. We've talked about Con Knipple multiple times. Brandon Miller, I believe, has played a lot above the rim this year, which has been awesome to see. So, like, there's been a lot of flashes from Charlotte that are fun to watch. I'm a Miles Bridges fan on the court. I think he can hoop. I think he's probably still in the league and underrated scorer. So yeah, there's a lot of pieces in Charlotte that make them fun to watch. And it's the same old story with Orlando that we've talked about multiple times, Brandon, with you in the fold. Well done yesterday breaking that down on Buckets.
I mean, and part of that too, it was a very small portion of the cap, and I said Jalen Suggs probably going to play, even if he doesn't, still like the number. He didn't end up playing. We saw an upgraded to questionable and then announced out, and he talked to the media earlier today. It made no sense. This is not NBA protocol.
Right.
How am I supposed to read the tea leaves when that's what he worked out at shoot around, talked to the media, upgraded to questionable. I mean, it's check, and then he doesn't end up playing. But Paolo right now, as the guy running the show, without Franz, without Jalen Suggs, it's rough. And it does not reflect well on him. There's a lot on his shoulders as far as the scoring load goes, but even that, like, Paolo should be scoring. He should have games where he's up to 35, 40 points. You know how many times Paolo Banchero's scored more than 30 this year? Anybody want to venture a guess?
Wow.
And he's been alone in a lot of these games.
Well, I can tell by the tone it's not very many. But
Yeah.
I honestly, before, if I didn't,
You don't need two hands. I can tell you that.
I would have said like at least 8 or 9. So it has to be short of that. So that's really interesting.
Wow. I was going to say 4. 4 was going to be my guess. 2?
2.
What's his season high?
I think it's 35.
Huh. You're right. I mean, even in a matchup like tonight, where the Hornets, as much as I love this team, and watching them, they're not great defensively. Like, you can have big games against them, especially and probably more so on the perimeter. But I mean, that's
it's
part
3,
of it
by
too.
the way. I miscounted one. It's 3.
3. It's still not many. I mean, part of it is also like Paolo, like the jump shot is just, I don't know, is broken too strong of a word, Brandon. Like, it's just, it's not there consistently enough. And at this point,
it's flat. Yeah. Whether or not that's considered broken or what, I mean, it's still like, it still looks the same. It's not like the Franz thing from last year where he had that weird hitch. I don't see form that's out of whack. I mean, every time he misses, it's either an air ball or front rim. There's just, I don't know if he doesn't get enough lift or what. I'm not a shot specialist, so I'm the last person that you should be asking about this, but that's what I see. His shot is just simply flat. But you're going to go as your star goes. Any team, there are a lot of teams in the league that would kill to have a player like that. And so he should be able to be enough to carry this team to consistent play. And right now, they're anything but. So it's a lot of soul searching. You get blown out by the Hornets on the second night of a back-to-back. You definitely have to ask yourself some questions.
I think Free Sauce's comments are worth a reply from you in particular, where he says Paolo falling into Zion territory as of failure.
At least Paolo plays.
I don't think we're there yet, Free Sauce, but I do think even Brandon would agree it needs to look better. It feels like they also punted this game. I don't know why. They don't have like a back-to-back on the horizon. They have they have Cleveland twice coming up, Saturday and Monday, home and home, as a matter of fact. Then they have Miami, Toronto, the Spurs, but they don't have a back-to-back coming up like in the immediate future. So it did feel like they kind of just punted this game, keeping Franz out also. It was weird.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't. I mean, it looks like Jalen Suggs is ready to play. Franz played in Germany, played in London. It looked like he was, and then they had 4 days. I mean, some of that was travel related, but yeah, I don't know.
They didn't look at against the spread numbers. They were like, the Hornets are on a back-to-back.
They should. You know what? The Magic should have been. Jamal Mosley should have been listening to buckets.
Right.
Would have had this team much more ready to go.
Right.
And real quick, BK, I'll give you what I learned. It's official that things are about to get really nasty in Golden State. Ooh. Like, it's going to get really, really dark there very, very quickly. I don't know what kind of plan they could have coming down the stretch here. We know Jimmy Butler tears the ACL. They then proceed to give up 145 to Toronto. They looked dusted tonight. Steph Curry clearly still has all the juice you need necessary to be, you can argue, a first team or second team at the worst, all NBA guy. He's still putting up really, really good numbers. He had a really, really good game tonight. But now Kuminga goes down. They don't have any offense outside of Steph Curry now in that rotation. Defensively, they're not going to be able to guard anybody as well. I think it's going to get really, really bad, really, really fast. And I think they have to make a decision on what they want to do with Steph. Because, let's rewind a little bit here, right? The conversation essentially out of Steph was, you guys got me out. This is before Jimmy Butler shows up. You guys got me out here on ass. We're not going to compete at all in the West. What are you guys doing? And he started to voice it a little bit in pressers. They then pull a rabbit out of the hat, go get Jimmy Butler, are forced to pay Jimmy Butler. Now Jimmy Butler's on an ACL. Did they go and get a first round series win against Houston? Yes. Still a very, very young Houston squad. They then win game 1 in Minnesota, then get their doors completely blown off the next 4. Never really could compete in that series, never were going to compete, and we're never going to compete in the West. Now you show up essentially with the same team, lying to everyone, saying that you can compete in the West, when we all know that is not the case. When you're looking at teams like Denver, who got better, Houston, who got better, Oklahoma City is the absolute top tier. They're the champs. Now you're staring down the barrel of San Antonio. They need to do something and make a decision fast. And I don't know what it could be without, getting that blessing or that, that voice, that chest puffed out of Steph being like, yo, the time has come. Let's get me out of here while I still got some actual juice left, because I don't see Steph going out there and playing the next 45 games. Like, why? For what? At this type of rate, he's playing unbelievable. If you saw his face against Dallas tonight on the bench, you could see it in his eyes, like, this shit is bad and getting worse very, very quickly. So I don't know what's going on, but I learned that it's officially done and dusted in Golden State for the Warriors. I'm not joking, guys. I wouldn't be surprised if they win like another 10 or 12 games, tops, the rest of the year.
He has to be the one that says it, though, because they can't. Their fan base.
Yeah, it's the same thing as Giannis, right? Like
but
those
it's
are
even
the guys.
big. I think it's even bigger than that. I think Milwaukee could get away, and maybe I'm wrong about this. So I think Milwaukee, as a franchise, could get away with, this was our idea. We felt like this was the right thing to do, and this is the haul that we got back. Steph Curry is he is one of the top tier legends for any particular franchise in the history of sports. Giannis is not. Giannis brought them a championship. He's not quite that. I mean, this would be like the Yankees trading Derek Jeter. You can't do it unless that guy says it. He's that important, because it's so obvious that this is what they need to do. They're not going anywhere, and they don't have the assets to bring anybody in. But they can't. Yeah. Their fan base would never forgive them if they trade Steph Curry, and that's the business side of it. And I fully admit, I might be completely wrong about this and saying that there's a divide, there's a difference between that and Giannis, but Steph is just one of those. It's Brady with the Patriots, it's Jeter with the Yankees, it's Jordan with the Bulls.
No, I don't think you're wrong. I think, Steph is at the pinnacle of, one franchise guy, done it all there. He's going to have to, grant the wish and, get and give them the blessing to kind of figure something out and hopefully work with him to get to go wherever they would work with him and go wherever he wanted to go or try to go, right? Wherever was available. I think the interesting part is, like, James Harden's willing to be the bad guy, is the bad guy when he wants to get to where he's going. And Giannis is the fake middle ground, wants to toe both sides. And then Steph, I think, would go the high route and try to keep things quiet. But we were in this position before Jimmy Butler showed up, and it was pretty clear. He was like, man, do something or get me out of here. And that was the first we had ever heard of that from Steph. I think we're going to hear something very similar very soon, and I think it's very justified.
Yeah, I think the answer is obvious. And I feel like Golden State should be frantically just trying to rebuild this, because I don't even know what do you do at this point. So we don't know.
Wasn't the frantic rebuild Butler? You know
right,
what I mean?
but now
Like,
it's
that
that wasn't a
frantic
rebuild
move.
though. That was trying
retooling.
to.
That's more retooling. I think that's different.
You're trying to throw tape on the boat that's got holes in it.
It's over now. Like, even if Kuminga's not out for, we don't know what the status is, but even if Kuminga's not out for a significant portion of the time, I mean, we don't know what Kuminga's going to do. We haven't seen him consistently. We know what he can do. He's kind of like Western Conference Benedict Mathurin. Is that really what they need right now? Like, I don't know.
Benedict Mathurin is a real bucket. that Kuminga has never been in his entire life.
Kuminga
So
has,
I think that's even being generous.
you know what I mean, stylistically, and also Kuminga, he did have some playoff moments last year when Golden State was shorthanded. Like I thought he actually impressed a little bit in that Minnesota series. But even so, it's like you have to go to Stephen Curry and say, look, we do think it's best for us. Even though they're too good to like just full blown tank. They're 25 and 21. They're not going to get but so low in the draft if they go that route. But your team is older. Like Stephen Curry, who has 1 year left on his deal after this year at $62 million, is still really, really good. He's going to be 38 years old in March. That's the other piece of this.
I was listening to the Hoop Collective, and Windhorse called out that Butler and Kuminga are 50% of their cap.
Mm-hmm.
That is a fucking disaster. That's a disaster.
They make 76 million combined this year.
Like something's got to happen.
The worst thing you can do in the NBA is try and hang on. The cap is too punitive to do what the Warriors did, and they tried to extend this Steph thing too long. And this is the rubber band snapping in the other direction. Unless
there's just like, unless Steph, as you said, really wants to just ride it out. Like if that's a possibility, if he's like, this is where I want to be, whatever. And it's like, cool, you won your titles. Steph is Steph. Like first ballot Hall of Famer. His jersey's going to get retired. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. Like
we're talking statues.
Yeah, he's a top whatever player ever. The best shooter we've ever seen, all the things. So if he's like, no, don't trade me, I want to stay here, then I feel like, okay, then and also you have to consider from a business standpoint, because all these teams operate business first. That's a shit ton of money coming into your arena because Steph is there day in and day out too, that they probably don't want to give up. So, but in the event Steph did want to go somewhere, I mean, find out immediately.
Look, man. Free Sauce just commented, Steph's retiring a Warrior. No need for this conversation.
Maybe
I'm not positive on that. Like, I agree. You would think that, but the way he's playing ball, this guy's got multiple years left. Like the rest of this year, next year, at an insane level. Like, I think he was ready. I think he was willing to go a couple of years ago before Jimmy showed up. And it's about to get really dark over there. I think he'd be willing to leave, and it'd be no harm, no foul. The fans would have no issues with it.
Free Sauce also left a comment earlier that I think Sean and I should tackle that was Knicks related. What can the Knicks get for Yabu and Dadier realistically, since we're talking about trades? And also asked about Najee Marshall. And I think Najee Marshall will be a great Knick. The problem is he gets downhill a ton. His jump shot is inconsistent, as I noted yesterday. I feel like it should be better than it actually is. Great at getting downhill, great at attacking the basket, gets to the line, can make about 80% of his free throws. I think he'd be great on that team. I think Dallas should also keep him and extend him because he is good to have around Cooper Flag. And as far as Yabu and Dadier, I don't know, but I'd be trying to get Jose Alvarado because I don't think Tyler Kolek is going to be in your playoff rotation, and you need a backup point guard in your playoff rotation who can play defense and shoot threes consistently.
Cosign?
Yeah, I co-sign that, and I don't want to. I'm going to talk for the next 10 minutes on that question, so I don't want to derail the episode. So let's get to these bets before we go an hour and 25 minutes.
Alvarado is out, by the way, with like an injury for a couple weeks, and I'm like, I think they're just resting him. You know what I mean? Trying to. And Jose Alvarado is home team also. Like he's from Brooklyn. He went to school at Christ the King. I covered it briefly at Christ the King. He even served me food before because they were doing like some sort of thing where they were putting the students to work, at Geico Nationals or whatever. And he actually gave me like a plate. So that was cool. So shout out to Jose for that. That was several years ago. But anyway, I think he'd be great on the Knicks. But.
Well, last night, Fonseca went 3-0 on his star plays.
0-3 tonight, baby. Watch.
See how he can back that up. I would say that we are currently sweating our 11-1 money line parlay bet, but the Heat look like they are getting run out of the building by the Portland Trail Blazers. So might have to look their way here in a moment. But right now, let's kick it to Matt Moore.
The Buckets podcast is sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook. And in partnership with DraftKings, our listeners get a great offer. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 back in bonus bets if your bet wins. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Pick 6 and have the shot to win cash prizes. To get started, use promo code BucketsNBA when signing up with DraftKings. Again, use code BucketsNBA when signing up and bet $5 to get $300 back in bonus bets if your bet wins. The crown is yours.
I'm going to go ahead and throw out my 3-star and let these guys cook. I got the Blazers plus 2.5 against the Raptors, and this is where sports betting really starts to warp your brain because I'm watching the Blazers right now dust the Miami Heat. They're playing great, and I hate it. I wish they were losing by 15 right now. But that's sort of that's just the mind meld that your brain goes into when you start betting these teams. Like there's no way they can do it 2 days in a row. But anyway, this one's simple. Betting Portland as a dog at home has been a dream this year. 11-4 against the spread in this spot. That's 73%. Second night of a back-to-back. They got a little Charlotte in them, Brian. No issue. A smooth 7-1 against the spread on no rest. Throw that in your Discord as well. They're taking on a Heat team right now that can get up and down the court and tire you out. Well, they're not doing that. Then come the Raptors, who move slower than Pangea. The Blazers should be able to control the tempo at home. Friday night against the Toronto team that's on the 4th game of a West Coast road trip. OKC is also on deck for Toronto, so this is kind of a sleepy spot. They won 2 straight. These two teams play each other, or they played each other already. They played each other tough. Early December, that one was in Toronto. That was a 3-point game. I like the Raptors, or the Blazers rather, to cover 2.5 at home tomorrow night or tonight, depending on when you're listening. Brian, what do you got?
So the Blazers are up 16, and it's because of a big third quarter, 14 now. I do wonder if, Jesus, they have 30 points in the third quarter. It's 7 minutes with 5 minutes to go in the quarter. And Bam has 26, so it's not even one of these games where like Bam is struggling offensively. He's doing his part, and Norman Powell is to some degree too, although they're 5 of 28 from 3, so that'll tell the story. I do wonder if you get into the territory of can you actually keep the Heat away enough to where you can rest some guys.
That'd
like Denny, for example, like Shaedon Sharp. Wonder if Drew Holiday will play the back-to-back as well. But yeah, I mean, they're also a sneaky good team. Sneaky good team on no rest, but also just in general, they're not bad. They're better than I thought they would be coming into the year. They're more interesting than I thought they would be coming into the year as well.
Yeah, they were a team that I was looking at when we were placing our bets last night, and it was them being labeled as favorites against Miami. They've just not been good in those positions when they're playing with expectations. And I don't think these guys are staring at odds screens before they go out and play. But some of them know, first of all. And I just think from a spread perspective, when you're favored, you have to show up and keep your opponent away. When you're a dog, you have to be kept away. And Portland is really good at hanging around in basketball games. Tonight they're showing that they can be a little bit more than that, but I like Portland to keep it close against the Raptors.
I mean, this W is 9 of 11 for Portland. They've been playing really, really good basketball. I mean, it's simple as that. Obviously, it's tough to get out. That's probably the toughest part of recording Buckets is we're recording this at 11:40 Eastern on Thursday, and the game's not over yet. We don't know what's going to happen and who's going to be on the report and who's going to play and all that stuff. So that's the question mark here. But overall, I think Portland's been undervalued in the market all year, and they put together a very good stretch of basketball. My boy Jay Rue back in the fold, Drew Holiday. So, I'm not going to argue this. Wait and look at the report if you want, but if you want to jump ahead, you can do that as well.
And that's one thing. If you feel like you like a team and you'd be okay with a couple of their players sitting out and you'd want to back them anyway, then you can take it early. But I think more than anything else, when these books put out these lines while the teams are still playing and they're going to be playing on the second night of a back-to-back, they're going to bloat the number against the team that's on short rest. And then when it comes out tomorrow that they're not benching anybody, you're going to get closing line value on that. So that's the gamble that you take while the game is still going on. Obviously, it can work in the other direction, but if you feel like a team is trending towards consistent health, and that's what Portland has looked like lately, then that's a team that I think when they're announced as healthy tomorrow, you're going to see this drop to 1.5. Sean, what are you looking at?
My 3-star play is Giannis Antetokounmpo to score 30-plus points at even money. I mean, I'm all over this game in multiple ways, and we'll get into a bunch of reasons why. Now, we all heard the comments. We heard what Giannis said about his teammates, essentially said they're playing selfish, non-ethical hoop. He said, y'all not playing ethical ball, man, in this locker room. The real quote is, we're not playing to win. We're not playing together. Our chemistry's not there. I think that's a nice way to say this roster is kind of weak. And Kyle Kuzma's not it. And Miles Turner's not it either. Like, that's overall what I'm gathering from Giannis. He knows it. Everyone, including us that watches the league closely, knows it. And they got to figure something out there as well. Now, two things can happen. Giannis can come out after saying those comments and dog it, which I've never seen him do for the most part. Or he could come out and say, I'm going to get mine and lead by example. And I think that's exactly what he's going to do here. And it's a really good matchup for him to do that against Denver. As the chat goes crazy, Denny to the locker room will not return. So there's your difficult situation betting and talking about games that are still in progress. But let me finish it.
David Payne, can you edit out everything that I said?
But this is a really good matchup for Giannis, specifically against Denver. Jokic has been out 13 games. Denver's 23rd in points allowed in the paint at 52 a game over that stretch. We all know who the point in the paint killer is, and it's Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's averaging 19.1 a game. That's the best in the NBA by a full 3.2 points. It's not even close. Who gets to the rim the best and scores? It's Giannis. Denver, 28th in opponent second chance points over that same stretch, allowing 17 per game. I could see Giannis beating up people on the glass offensively as well. I see a massive game for Giannis here. Nuggets also 28th in defensive rebounding percentage over that 13-game stretch. Giannis coming off 17 and 14 boards. He's going to be at home trying to make a statement coming off of those coming off of those comments. I think he puts up a big number against a team that gives up bundles and bundles of points in the paint when Jokic is not around. He's going to kill Jonas Valanciunas if he goes. This is a big, big spot for Giannis. Now, there's a book hanging a Giannis 10-plus boards at minus 134. I would gobble that up as well. I think that should be closer to like minus 160, minus 165. So I think this is a big spot for Giannis to have 10-plus boards, 30-plus points. I wouldn't be mad at you if you parlayed that together for Giannis to have 30 and 10. Nuggets also playing 3 and 4 nights on the second of a road back-to-back. They've looked sluggish the last 6 quarters. If you watch that Lakers game, they absolutely folded coming down the stretch. I think they scored less than 40 points in the second half after looking really good. And then they just looked whatever against tonight against Washington outside of Peyton Watson. So I think this is a good spot for Giannis to go absolutely ballistic coming off of the comments. He either is going to dog it and quit. That's not Giannis, or he's going to come out, try to lead by example, or just say, fuck everybody else. I'm going to go ahead and get my 35, 10, and 6. Or maybe I won't pass it at all and I'll score 40. So I think that's what's more likely. I like Giannis to have a big evening versus Denver.
Brian, what do you think? I'm currently betting the Raptors -2.5. Go ahead.
Honestly, Giannis is just pissing me off. Like, just ask for the trade, or or is he trying to do LeBron thing where he just throws all his teammates under the bus, knowing that the front office will capitulate? In LeBron's case, they have not over the recent years, and they haven't every time. But at the same time, Giannis has more pull with the Bucks right now than LeBron does with the Lakers, if you can believe it, as evidenced by waiving and stretching Damian Lillard to have more than $20 million dead on your books for the next 5 seasons, including this one. Yeah, I just, for me, it's like, one, the spot, I mean, it makes a ton of sense. Giannis could just have a FU selfish performance where he just scores a ton, and makes his statement, so to speak. And also, Giannis is Giannis. You don't want to bet against him, generally speaking. And yeah, I'd like for this thing to sort of not linger for another few months. It's getting into Damian Lillard territory in terms of how much longer we're going to talk about the possibility of him being traded, despite the guy, you know, not even fully asking for it, even though Brian Windhorst says he did technically, and he's, I'm sure, right about that, but not publicly, whereas Damian Lillard did acknowledge that he asked for a trade publicly, at least, even though he was kind of meek about it in terms of forcing where he actually wanted to go, which was Miami, and ended up going to Milwaukee, which kind of landed us here to begin with. Yeah, Giannis is annoying, but I do think he's also a top 5 player and awesome. So there's that.
Never going to talk anybody off of taking a Giannis over, especially after a really bad game and a really great opportunity for a bounce back here. Quick update on the gift and the curse, Sean, of giving out these picks on buckets is that we also get to buy out of that prior to the lines adjusting.
Yeah.
It's not like we place the bets and then go to bed. I was able to bet the Raptors and lose the VIG. And we've already seen this line move 2 points since I gave it out. Thank you for putting that up. The graphic. Blazers has been cashed out. Yes. I don't know if is this the first time in Buckets history that this has happened. A 3-star play.
3-star cash out.
Before we get to our... Brian hasn't even given us his 3-star yet. We've already eliminated one. So, Brian, go ahead.
This is like a 2.1 star, but Isaiah Joe, because I like it, but I don't 3 stars. Like, I love to play. Like Peyton Watson yesterday, I was all in. And Free Sauce mentioned we should have bet him top point scorer, missed opportunity. And yeah, honestly, we should have just rode that all the way. Even with an injury, he came back out and was like, you know what, I'm going to finish what I started and went crazy. But Isaiah Joe, he gets the Pacers, and OKC's injury report is loaded. Jalen Williams is out, as we know, for an indefinite period of time, which is the main thing here. Then you have Isaiah Hartenstein out. AJ Mitchell is out, which is another important one to this specific player here. And Alex Caruso is also out, which also frees up more guard minutes for Isaiah Joe potentially. Aaron Wiggins is also questionable. He did miss last game, which means I have to sit him in fantasy. And then big Jalen Williams is also questionable. So Isaiah Joe, 11.5 points. If you can find a 10.5, doesn't seem to be one available right now. Don't know where this number is going to end, but just keep your eye out for that with the injury report. And then also look, in games where he's played 20 or more minutes this season, of which there's been 19, he's over this in 11 of them. And the number is even better when you just go to 21.5 minutes, because you see like 14, 18, 22, 15. Like Isaiah Joe is able to get busy, you know, obviously when OKC is shorthanded. Indiana doesn't give up a ton of threes, but somebody's got to shoot some threes for this team in OKC. And their defense overall just isn't very good. So I like Isaiah Joe here. We may talk about Shea as well, given this matchup, but this is a good spot to sort of pick off a couple OKC players. And I think Isaiah Joe is one of the role guys who I like here.
Yeah, I mean, when you have to pick up the slack for guys like AJ Mitchell that have just been electric offensively, good, sharp spot to look elsewhere at those other role guys that are going to pick up the pieces against a defense that is not interested in stopping a soul right now in the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and piggyback off of that. My 2-star play of the night, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, over 32.5 points scored. I don't think we'll be cashing out of this one before the end of the podcast. I have not bet an SGA over yet this year, so I'm pumped about that just on the surface. He's coming off of a monster game. I don't expect anybody to remember this off of the top of their heads, but the last time he played the Pacers, he saw food. 55 points scored against Indiana. That was early on in this season. It took overtime to do it. In fact, it took double overtime to do it. But OKC,
second game of the year.
Yeah. But OKC's down a couple of scorers, as Brian just mentioned, so he could see even more shot attempts than the typical 20 or so that you get from SGA. So I'm going to take my chances with the MVP in a finals rematch, and I'm going to double down on this too. I'll just go ahead and throw my 1-star out there because I'm going to ladder this to 40 plus at plus 342. He's had 40 plus in 2 of his last 3 regular season games against Indy. We've seen him score 40 plus multiple times already this month. And I mean, like I said, 55 the last time he played against this team. Not interested in defending. Extra shots. Give me SGA over 32.5 points. And then the ladder. So I'm going half a unit on SGA, over 32.5, quarter unit on the 40 plus at plus 342. And by the way, somebody asked Raptors 2.5 now. Well, the Raptors are not 2.5 point favorites after the Denny Avdia injury. The assumption is going to be that Avdia misses this game. I quickly grabbed a 3. It's now up to 4.5. I would not bet it at this point. If this drops back down to 4, I would take Toronto. I have a 2.5 point adjustment on Avdia. That would get me to 4.5. I think the spread is spot on where it is right now. So no, I would not. I would not take the Raptors. If you have a 2.5 out there at some exchange or something like that, absolutely take Toronto right now. Sean, what are we looking at? 2-star play.
Yeah, really quick. I think that's a lesson. And if you're tapped in and watching games, like it takes time for the books to react.
It does.
Like they're late sometimes. If you're sitting there watching the game and you see Denny go down, he's on a back-to-back tomorrow, and you see the severity ish of the injury, try to get the best number. You're never gonna lose money long term if you're grabbing numbers on stuff like that overall. Like in a perfect world, we would stay disciplined enough to only bet spots like that, but also stay extremely locked into what's going on in the league on a night-to-night basis. Like I would say, quick story, that there was a stretch where I was playing poker and sports betting professionally, like over a couple years. And there was guys that were pro gamblers. Typically, a lot of them were doing the same thing as me. They were playing cards and sports betting. But like the really, really big dog disciplined guys, they were, I want to say their volume sheet on sports betting was like 6 or 7 in the annual year. They would just wait until they loved the spot and hammer it. They were going like 5-2 on the season. So like that's the type of discipline that some people are practicing, but like those are the spots where, you get the real value and you can catch them asleep at the wheel a little bit.
Absolutely. Think about everything the sports book has to monitor. They can't be locked in on everything all at once. It's not possible. So that's always going to be the advantage that we have as sports bettors over the sports books, is that they have to put odds out for everything all the time, every day. You don't have to bet everything all the time, every day. You get to pluck these spots and these moments when they're trying to turn the cruise ship around in the ocean and you're on it. And I see somebody in the chat there that says Raptors still -3 at Bet365.
There you go.
I mean, yeah, grab it. Absolutely. That's value because it's not, if Avdi is out, that number is not going to be 3.
So if you're keeping score at home, the Buckets pod has injured both Jimmy Butler and Denny Avdia.
Correct. I think Fiddle went through an explanation that was exactly like this
just
other
in
night.
case Jimmy Butler gets injured and then he tore his ACL against the Miami Heat. Both injuries against the Heat, by the way.
That's crazy. Lesson now learned, by the way, is no longer will we be giving out bets on teams that are currently in action while we're talking, because
especially against the Heat, apparently.
Yeah, I was pulled off the bench, so please forgive me for my malfeasance. All right, Sean, give me a 2-star.
Yeah, going back to that same Bucks Nuggets matchup. I want to take the Bucks team total over 112.5 minus 123. I think Giannis is going to have a big night. I think they could score 113 plus here in this matchup, in this spot. I think overall both teams offensively have been bad. They've been bad, and games have been going under overall, and the pace is slow, especially on the Nuggets side. Like I get all the reasons why these games are going under, and offensively why Milwaukee's not scoring a lot of points. But I think this is the spot where we could buy low on the Bucks overall as a squad, with Giannis leading the way. I think they score 113 plus. On back-to-backs, the Nuggets are 6-2 to the over. And as I mentioned, go back, the rest of that cap that I gave out on Giannis applies here. Sluggish the last 6 quarters. They only scored 36 points in the second half versus the Lakers. They needed Watson to score 35 for them to score 107 on the Wizards. 3 and 4 nights on the second night of a back-to-back. They could have some tired, not caring legs here as well. Bucks team total over 112.5. The number was 3.5 minus in the Bucks' favor before we got on at DraftKings. The crown is yours, and now 6 at 4.5. So yeah, I like this spot for the Milwaukee Bucks. I think they're going to come out and get a quote unquote big win at home, and it's north of 113.
Yep. I like the way that you're attacking this game. This feels like it is a Bucks side. You are betting into Giannis and points, and I like the idea of just leaning into that one play and this obvious bounce back opportunity for Milwaukee. Any look or any read on this, Brian?
I mean, if they play ethical hoops, they should be fine, right? That's also really what it comes down to. So, I also want to mention Texas Hedge Fund, which is an interesting name. Commented Heat Live could be worth a look rather with Denny out. They're down 13 with 10 minutes, so you'll get a good number if you do want to look at that. People watching this, the Heat have been a better fourth quarter team this year than they have been a couple years past, where they were one of the worst for 2 straight seasons. They're slightly above average or around average right now. I don't trust them with my heart of hearts, but hey, I mean, it's within reach. They're one run away from making this an interesting game. So there's that.
Brian, give me your 2 and 1 star play on the Friday slate.
2-star play. Donovan Mitchell over 28.5 points. It's not quite 30, which is good because that number, that actual point just matters. This is a buy low spot for me in terms of how he's played lately. He's just missing shots. He's shooting 39% over his last 6 games. He's only over this one time in his last 6 games, but he's playing the Sacramento Kings. So I feel like this is a decent get right spot. Darius Garland, as we know, is still out. Sam Merrill's scheduled to be out again, and still no Max Strus. Donovan Mitchell obviously going to have a heavy load on his shoulders again. Kings defense is the 4th worst in the NBA so far this season, and oftentimes it looks a lot worse than that. Maybe less so a little bit lately, depending on when you've caught them. Donovan Mitchell hasn't gone under 28.5 points 4 straight times this season. He is under in 3 straight. So this will be the ultimate test now. And I just watch him and I'm like, he's getting a lot of the same looks. He's generating a lot of the same offense. The bounce is still there. It's just, he's just been missing. Like that's really what it comes down to. So I think he'll get those looks and actually get better looks because it's the Kings. I really like him here in a bounce back spot. And if he goes under again, then the slump continues, and it kind of is what it is. But I want to bank on somebody this good, somebody who I've enjoyed actually betting this year. He usually comes through for me at the very least. So we'll pull the trigger here again against what should be a soft matchup. Then,
I'll say they are 11.5-point favorites against Sacramento. I think that line has actually dropped since I looked at it earlier. So I don't know if there's
it's a bit much. I don't know if they should be. I don't know if they should be 11.5. I don't know about that. The Kings aren't good, but I don't know if they're, like 11-point underdogs, given the way the Caps have been inconsistent this year.
And Sabonis is back, and he's going to be playing on Friday also. But yeah, I like. Hey, look at us. We are star filled. This is not a Johnny Furphy night on buckets. We've got SGA.
Oh,
wait, Giannis.
wait, because I'm about to ruin it with the 1 star.
Oh, come on, Brian. We were having such a good time with MVPs. What's the 1 star?
Drake Powell over 6.5 points for your Brooklyn Nets. Drake Powell, for people watching the Nets, who are people who's watching the Nets right now? I did, as a New Yorker, watch a half of Knicks Nets, and I was like, okay, all right, we don't need to do this. Drake Powell projects to be with the Conor McGregor. Who the fuck is that? Drake Powell was one of the Nets' 5 first-round picks. He was actually the last one. He played in North Carolina. He does project to be a 3-and-D guy. And actually, coming away from the draft, I literally said this on draft night. He's the one guy of the 5 first-rounders that I know what his role is going to be. So I actually like that pick the most, not in terms of he's going to be the best player, but in terms of fit. I feel like I know what I'm getting out of him. Evidently, Jordy Fernandez feels that way too, because he's now starting for them. He started 6 recent games. He started 5 in a row. He's in the starting lineup, and the Nets are healthy, minus Haywood Highsmith, who has yet to play again this season. No, I don't think he's related to Dwight Powell. They don't look anything alike, I'll tell you that much. Drake Powell, the tank is on for Brooklyn, obviously. They're starting to lose a bunch of games. They're still competitive in some of these, but they weren't last time. We'll see what happens against the Celtics. The Celtics give up the most threes per 100 possessions in the NBA at 41. Drake Powell isn't shooting well from 3 yet, but again, he's a better shooter than he has performed so far this year. He should be able to get some looks in this game. What else are the Nets going to do, for being honest? He's over 6.5 points in 3 of 4 games. He's over this in 4 of 6 starts, and does have a 6 from his last game against the Knicks, where, again, he was just missing. So he should get better looks from 3 here. It's a low-ass number. And lately he's been getting starters minutes, because in that lineup he's getting 25, 24, 25 every single game. So he's not somebody – he's kind of like their version of Sion James, if I can go like even more nerdy here, where they like him in the point of attack, as a point of attack defender. They like him to be able to get out, spray some threes, and just play complementary basketball. I don't expect him to go way over this if he does go over, but I do like him here, given the volume, the opportunity, and I think the shooting, like he's due for some positive regression there, because he could actually shoot.
I think last 10 games for Drake Powell, he's played just under 22 minutes a game. I think he's winning over Fernandez a bit with the starts that Fonseca has mentioned. I think this number can creep up to 25, 26, 27 minutes, and that's what you want in this spot. So yeah, I like this spot for Drake Powell quite a bit.
Free sauce, perfect comment there. We're getting into the trenches tonight.
Yes,
sir. Somebody had to pull us into the trenches. We were a little too mainstream leading up to that moment. Now you're gonna have to explain this one to me, Sean. Here I see the god awful Indiana Pacers rolling into OKC.
Yeah.
I know it's a fat number. It's 16.5.
Yeah.
But this is what the Thunder do.
Yeah.
They could have this covered by the middle of the first quarter. What is making you run to the window?
Well, I didn't run. I stumbled over on the 1 star. You know what I mean? I didn't run over there.
I don't care if you're running or crawling like a sloth to the window. I'm looking at the sheet and it says Pacers plus 16.5. Explain that to me.
Yeah, I think more than anything, it's just a little spidey, sharp senses tingling that that's too many points in a sleepy spot with the Thunder coming off the road. They do have a day off, but the injury report is a massacre. Everybody for Atlanta looks like they're going to play that have been in the lineup. The one thing that does make me nervous, BK, about your play with SGA is just how big the number is, and we know how many fourth quarters that SGA hasn't played all year.
Yep.
Coming off of that road trip, I could see him getting less minutes if this does get super out of hand. But I just think there's a lot of backdoor potential here for the Pacers to keep it inside 17. Nothing more than that. This isn't something that I am playing. I did play those 2 Milwaukee bets already, but this was the first one out for me. I would have sprinkled on the Pacers here just off of the strength of 16.5 and a sleepy spot, with the Thunder being a complete mash unit, being too many points.
Yeah, it's frustrating that this is a sleepy spot. The Pacers should have been so fun this year. Every time I see them pop up in a game that should be big, I just get so disappointed that we don't have Tyrese Halliburton out there and that they're able to try and run this back, because this would have been such a fun matchup. This is their first game at home in their last 4. So perhaps this is a do the laundry, take the dog out, call the girlfriend game, perhaps.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go pick up the dry cleaning. You got to walk the dog. Sometimes you got to go hang out with multiple girlfriends. Next thing you know, Nemhard's got 17 in the first half, and it's a tie game. You know what I mean? So it can happen like that. We've seen it.
I wasn't about to wrap up this episode without hearing that. No.
Dry cleaning, dog is walked. Next thing you know, I gotta go to Paycom and play, and it's the Pacers. Easy bucket, 20-point win. Then you win by 9. So yes, there you go.
Before we get out of here, it is time for our Friday NBA same game parlay presented by DraftKings. Pacers, Thunder, SGP. We're looking back towards this game. NBA Finals rematch that will look nothing like it. The Pacers plus 16.5. Isaiah Joe over 11.5 points scored. And Mr. MVP himself, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, over 32.5 points. This is a clean 6-1 over on DraftKings, your Friday NBA same game parlay presented by DK. The crown is yours. That'll do it for tonight's episode. If you want to tail any of the bets that we have discussed, look for the quick slip link in the podcast and video description, or go to actionnetwork.com/bet now. If you hopped in the middle of the episode and wondered why I changed my 3-star play, I suggest that you rewind to the beginning of our conversation. Big thanks to Sean Little and Bryan Fonseca. The squad is out of time. Hat tip to our producer, David Payne. We'll see you here next time. And until then, let's get buckets.